Claudia's theme is in peace or in pieces. Claudia's put a lot of work in this chapel. She sent me her first draft in May. Way to get ahead of the game. Her message, I think, is going to resonate with all of us. So in order to set up her theme, she's asked Lizzie McNeil to perform a short reading. And I would ask that all of us sit up, give her some loving eye contact. I know sometimes people on the side, a little crick in the neck, but it's very supportive if you think people are really paying attention and listening. So sit up straight, give her and Lizzie your respectful attention. Lizzie and then Claudia.
The early bird catches the worm. A stitch in time saves 9. He who hesitates is lost. We can't pretend we haven't been told. We've all heard the proverbs, heard the philosophers, heard our grandparents warning us about wasted time, heard the damn poets urging us to seize the day. Still, sometimes we have to see for ourselves. We have to make our own mistakes. We have to learn our own lessons. We have to sweep today's possibility under tomorrow's rug until we can't anymore, until we finally understand for ourselves what Benjamin Franklin meant. That knowing is better than wondering. That waking is better than sleeping. And that even the biggest failure, even the worst, most intractable mistake beats the hell out of never trying. Here's Claudia.
I want to start off the chapel with a simple exercise. So raise your hands if you know who I am. Whoa, that is not what I was expecting. Keep your hands raised if you can answer yes to the following question. How many of you know me? Now, what's the difference between the two questions you asked? Well, in fact, there does exist a subtle difference between the two. My name is Claudia. I'm a senior. I was born on January 5th in Hong Kong, Hong Kong. No, I'm not Chinese or Hong Kongese. Frankly, I'm quite embarrassed to say that I'm not even aware of the correct term to describe people from Hong Kong. I'm a Korean with an American passport, born in Hong Kong when it used to be a British colony. There, pretty simple, right? That's something most of you probably didn't know about me. So back to the questions. The big difference between knowing someone's name and understanding their story behind their name. Their values, their ambitions, their memories, and so on. What I learned with the help of my friends and mentors is that I myself don't quite really know who I really am. And my guess is that you guys simply don't have the energy to think about this big question either. But right here, right now, I want you to take a moment to think about one person that you know of, but wish you could find out more about. Think for the next couple seconds. How much of their story do you really know? And this notion of not having enough time to get to know someone, or not caring enough about the people outside your circle of friends, in my opinion, is a load of bull. What I realized last year at graduation was the fact that I'd been too immersed in trying to finish my SATs and working for that 5-5 in Mr. Doors class that I failed to prioritize my true desires. Lost in the chaos of junior year and overtaken by waves of selfish motivation, I'd completely ignored the value of building meaningful relationships. I vividly recall thinking on that particular Thursday of last year, feeling lost in the midst of all the unattractive criers, saying their farewells, and walking back to my room in the wailing rain. Was regretting that I hadn't spent enough time getting to know some of the members of the graduating class as well as I hoped. People I kept dear to my heart, like Claire, Abby, Matoko, Leah, and others. I knew I could always send them a text and meet up with them over breaks. But the people I hadn't gotten to know, to really know that is, I would never have the blessed opportunity to discover their stories and laugh at an inside joke over a glass of iced chai down at Gourmet. So what I'm encouraging you all to do today are two things. Think and listen. Think about the people you will regret not having known at this year's graduation. Listen to me in your own inner voice and make a choice you won't regret. Think about what you want out of this year. What relationships? What anecdotes? Who am I? and what do I value? One of the greatest figures in history and leader of Buddhism today, and my personal mentor, the Dalai Lama, once said, "The one thing that surprises him most about humanity is man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices his money to recuperate his health. And then he's so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present nor the future. He lives as if he's never going to die, and then dies having never really lived." What surprises you the most about the way we choose to live? I mean, do you, freshmen, really think about what you want to do with your life after Blair? I remember how most of my discussions in Locke Hall were about the happenings at the freshman retreat and upperclassmen boys, not about the far future. Sophomores and juniors, have you thought about the college you want to go to yet? Because pretty soon Mr. Stovall will hunt you down, asking you every waking moment, "So, what do you look for in a school?" Well, my first answer was, "I don't know." And quite frankly, it still is. But what I was thinking at that moment was, look, I really don't have a clue yet. I want to live on a farm and have a small family someday, so which college will prepare me for that? But that didn't go over so well in my mind, because he'd look at me with some sort of disapproving smirk across his face, laugh a little, and say, "You, a Korean, on a farm? I think you want to live in a city like normal Korean kids. NYU or UPenn, you Miami, but knowing you, you'd get no work done down there." But yes, a farm. I want to live with cows and chickens and mulch and everything else you can find on a farm. Not in the midst of the busy city traffic, nor the sound of people arguing in the apartment next door, through a wall so thin you can't truly be alone, even if you want to. Not encircled by different scents of expensive perfume, but submerged in the smells of nature. Instead of the sounds of angry drivers and bitter delivery trucks, the calm of the running river, and the feel of morning dew on the lawn. Surprising, right? Well, that's another thing most of you didn't know about me. And I know that there's not much I know about most of you, but I hope that after this chapel, you'll take the minutes to be courageous and introduce yourself to someone you've always wished you'd known. Listen carefully to the second hands of the clocks ticking in this digital world that we live in. Time. It's something that each and every one of us was given. It's the gift that we've all received. Whether you're 15 or 51, kind or bitter, like Pepsi or Coke, a freshman or a senior, time truly doesn't discriminate. However, the way we choose to look at the passage of time really reflects a lot about who we are. I myself believe that the most beautiful things in life occur when we really stop and take the time to observe the things happening around us. These days, I and many of you are too busy trying to catch up with others in this fast-paced life that we often forget the beauty of time. How like the rivers I'd love to hear flow no matter what time of day. How like the farm I'd like to live on someday doesn't sleep at night. Time doesn't stop for you or me, so we have to make the best of the seconds that tick by before it's too late. So lately, I've been thinking a lot about the moments that we sacrifice to reach our goals. To get into the colleges we think we want to attend. To get that 6.0 on the math quiz that you probably wish you could be studying for right now. To get that guy to fall in love with you and be able to trust somebody wholeheartedly again when we're only teenagers, and let's be honest, we don't even know if it exists. To get up in the morning to put on a pair of pants that don't smell like you've worn them every other day of the week. Whatever your goal is, what's the purpose of living this life with this goal-driven mentality if, in the end, you don't remember the moments that you spent getting there? Why do we choose to live at the mercy of forces outside of our control, and yet believe that what we get at the end of all the effort will make it all right? Well, the truth is, it isn't all right. People hear the word sacrifice, and they become afraid that something will be taken away from them, or that they'll have to give up something they can't live without. Sacrifice to them means loss in a world telling us we could have it all. But I believe true sacrifice is victory. A sacrifice of a result for experiences. A sacrifice of time for lasting memories. A sacrifice of something tangible for an emotion. Sacrifice is remarkable because it requires free will to give up something for someone or something you love more than yourself. It's a gamble. And sacrifice won't strip you of your pain and loss, but it does win the battle against bitterness. The bitterness that dims the light on all of the true value in our lives. I believe that sometimes when you sacrifice something precious, you're not really losing it. You're just passing it along to someone else. For instance, if you sacrifice a bit of your time right now to think about what it is you really value, you might be a lot closer to becoming the person you want to be someday. If you take the time away from the hubbub of the Blair bubble, block out the dim clamor of the rumor mill, and look beyond what others say about you, you might actually get to know somebody's story very, very well. Maybe even before the end of this school year, realize how much you have in common, or how much you've come to care about him or her. You see, the more shoulds and shouldn'ts, I should have studied for that test. I shouldn't have yelled at my best friend Natalie. I shouldn't have told him what I was really feeling. The more shoulds we have in our lives, the more justifications we have to come up with. We become covered in a cloak of excuses, while inside, our confidence to reach out to others slowly ebbs away. The thing that stops us from going out there and really getting to know people is the cliched way in which we think. Always sticking to familiar labels, classifications, and pigeonhole. What famous psychologist Edward de Bono described as the arrogance of patterns. So don't be that arrogant, egotistical teenager solely driven by the need to receive a gold star for achieving your goal. Be the kid that Blair encourages you to be. Original. Sacrifice a little time today, right now, and hopefully more in the near future, and get socially creative, not just academically motivated. Think laterally and not just vertically, instead of digging the same hole deeper by loving your best friends even more unconditionally than already possible. Dig a hole in a different direction, by doing something your future self will be proud of. Don't look back at this year on May 30th of next year and wish that you had gotten to know someone better. Don't be stuck in the shoes that I was in last year. Trust me, we all know that the past, something that's gone forever, can weigh us down very much. Don't let this year be that weight. You introverts, stop working inside of your heads, simply reflecting, and go out there and experience the world around you. You extroverts, dig into your minds and figure out what it is you truly want to make of this year. For the remainder of you, good luck with all that you see. And at the end of this school year, I hope that you be in peace, not in pieces. Seniors first.